Alright guys, so welcome to your help video for week 6 review worksheet. What you're doing on College Board, and these are types of questions that you'll see on there. So for numbers 1 and 2, this will help you out. This is not the same question as the one on 1 and 2, but if you follow along with me on this, it should help you do that one okay. So without any further ado, let's get started here. So for numbers 1 and 2, let f be the function defined by this. Write an expression that can be used to calculate the average rate of change of f on the interval from 1 to a. Well, average rate of change is found by doing y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's the old school Algebra 1 slope formula. So the y values are found by plugging these numbers in. And so y2 minus y1 would be that, over x2 minus x1 would be that. And that's pretty much it. They just want to make sure that you understand how to find an average rate of change, and it's by doing the old slope formula. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the next one there. 3 and 4. Use the table below to calculate the average rate of change of g of x on the interval from 4 to 10. So same thing, only this time we're working with a g function. So we're going to plug in 10 for our y2. We're going to plug in 4 for our y1, and the 10 and the 4 go on the bottom for the x values. So on the bottom, 10 minus 4 is 6, so that's going to stay the same. Now g of 10, we can find that by looking in the table here. We find where x equals 10 in the table, which is there, and we find the g value that goes with it, which is 4. So let's find g of 4. There's where x equals 4, and g of 4 is negative 8. So g of 10 is 4, g of 4 is negative 8, which leaves me with 12 over 6, which is 2. Final answer. So average rate of change is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 once again. Let's go ahead and take a look at a helpful question for numbers 5 and 6. So suppose that I tell you that this line right here is tangent to the function of h at x equals 4. Well, whenever a line is tangent to a function at a specific point, like let's just say AB here, right? And I have a tangent line there. The tangent line looks like this, and the function is something else. But interestingly enough, at that point, the tangent line has the same y value because it's touching the curve at that point. So the f function and the tangent line have the same y value, and they also have the same slope. And so basically, if you want to find h of 4, then you can just simply plug 4 into your tangent line, because the tangent line will give you the same answer as the original function anyway. So 28 minus 2 is 26. So the y value would be 26. Now for this next one, h prime is going to be equal to y prime. So if h equals y, then h prime equals y prime. And so what's the derivative of y here? It's just going to be 7. And so in this case, there's nowhere to plug the x into, so we don't really need to worry about plugging in the 4. But basically, the derivative of h should be equal to the slope of your tangent line at that point. Okay? So that's pretty much it for numbers 5 and 6. Let's take a look at the next set, 7 and 8. So for 7 and 8, they're going to give you a graph with a tangent line once again. And on this one, they're going to be asking you to find f prime of 1. Well, as we've already mentioned to you on the last problem, the derivative of my function at 1 is going to be equal to the slope of my tangent line at x equals 1. Okay, so let's find where x equals 1. Oh, well, that's right here. And so the slope of that tangent line there is going to be the value of f prime of 1. So to find the slope, you're going to pick 2 points, and you can either do the slope formula, or you could just go over and up and say, okay, my rise over run is up 2 over 1. And therefore, f prime of 1 would be 2 over 1, which is just 2. Okay, that's pretty much it for 7 and 8. Let's go ahead and take a look at numbers 9 and 10. So for numbers 9 and 10, they're going to tell you what the derivative of f at a specific point is. They're going to tell you what the derivative of g is at a specific point. They're going to give you a new function, h, which is made by putting together the f and the g function with some other stuff. And then they're going to ask you to find h prime of 2, or h prime of something. So the first thing you do is start off by finding h prime. So let's do that. The derivative of this, the 5 is going to stay because it's a constant multiple. And now the f is going to become an f prime. Same thing with the g. The 3 is going to stay, but the g becomes a prime. This one, we're just going to take the derivative using the power rule. So you'll multiply 2 to the front, take 1 off the power. And then finally, when we take the derivative of constant, it just goes away. So there's the derivative of h. Now we want to plug in the x value that they've given us. So h prime of 2 is 5 times f prime of 2 minus 3 times g prime of 2 plus g of 2. I'm sorry, not g, 8 times 2. All right, well, f prime of 2, as you can see, is equal to 3. So what we have here is 5 times 3. And g prime of 2, as you can see, is equal to negative 4. So now we just do our multiplication of those things. That's 15. That's going to become plus 12 and plus 16. And we're just going to go ahead and put all those things together. What would that be? Let's see. That's going to be 27. Adding 16 to that, we would get 37 plus 6 would be 43, I think. Final answer there. All right, so basically just find the derivative, plug in the number they give you, and use these things to get to your final answer. And that's pretty much it. So that should help you with numbers 9 and 10, and hopefully that'll help you guys get done with the College Board assignment for this week, and we'll see you guys in class.